Peace, peace, family. This is Minister Raheem, founder of the Temple of Mercy Association, aka the Atonement Nation, coming to you for a few minutes live. It's my first time coming live other than on Sunday, but today I'm coming to you on I believe it's Tuesday. Yes, on a Tuesday. And this past Sunday, I spoke to you all, and I come on every Sunday on Atonement Nation Facebook Live at 12:30. But a few things been on my mind that I wanted to say before Sunday, so I'm just off the cuff right now. Just want to say a few things from my vantage point on a lot of stuff that's going on. I won't be long, like I said, but I'm going to be strong. We're dealing with a lot of things as a people. This movement, Atonement Nation, is an all-inclusive black conscious righteous movement. A total dedication is to the upliftment of black people in North America. Also, you probably seen a show that we do. At one time, it started in January. It was once a month. It's called The Black View, bringing to you a view from a black perspective concerning things that's going on in the world today on a daily basis. What I want to do is come to you and give you my point of view. So that's why I call it my vantage point. My point of view based on current events and what you may hear on the news or whatever. And because I believe that I bring to you a mixture of things, not just from a biblical or Quran perspective, but more so from a social perspective. I don't want to use the term political, but politics can be in there somewhere, but more socially. It's dealing with what black people have to deal with every day from a social level. And I believe the thing that pushed me to want to speak today was dealing with the things that I see building up, dealing with this COVID-19 or what they call the coronavirus, what I call a plague. Most of my proofs about what's going on comes from what they call the revelation in the Holy Bible. Things that was revealed to a man named Paul. Delete. A man named John. Not John the Baptist, but John the Revelator, which they say was Jesus' half-brother. Something was revealed to him about what was going to happen thousands of years later, all the way up to 2020. Some events that were going to take place. And we've heard many people in churches talk about the Bible from Genesis to Revelation and things like that. But you don't hear too many of them today speaking on Revelations now. When everything that we're seeing happening to us right now is mirroring those things in Revelation. And so I want to come to you and talk to you about some things from my vantage point. They talk about Bobby Rush trying to get a bill passed. I don't know the exact terminology, but I'll have it for you tomorrow. I'm going to come back tomorrow about 3:30. And it's called 6666. And it's some kind of bill that deals with this coronavirus. But I don't want to say too much about it right now. But I want to bring that to you from my vantage point, my perspective on how this relates to when we get desperate as a people, we will go along with anything. And especially people who are caught up in this system, people who work in this system, such as most of our people feel that, and I'm going to say it though, it's weird, that if we vote Trump out of office, the virus will go away. Some of us think that if we vote certain governors, certain mayors, if we don't re-elect certain aldermen and all of that, that some kind of way the virus is going to disappear. Politics is not going to save black people. And there's no bill that you can put out that's going to save white people. The truth of the matter is, if you read the Holy Bible and if you read the Holy Quran, Bible means book, holy means light, 2 books of light. If we read those books and study them, they each are at least one, like the Holy Quran is 1,500 years old. The Holy Bible, if you go back to the first script that was written, it would be close to maybe 2,000, 4,000 years. Well, none of us been around that long. And if you ain't been around for 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 years, you can't really verify or even qualify anything that's written in that book to say that you are a witness from that day and time. A lot of us don't live to be 100. So you can't be a witness for that. And if someone showed up and said they were, you wouldn't believe them no way. So the thing about what I've been teaching and what God has given me, these revelations are in conjunction with the revelations in the Bible and in the Holy Quran. But it's not for yesterday. It's not for the past. It's for right now. The things we're witnessing, yes, it happened before, but not on a global level. This is the first time that we're dealing with any pandemic that is of a global nature to the same degree that we're dealing with it right now. Yes, we've had others, and it built up until now, up to now. When have we had to walk around with masks on? When have you ever thought in your heart and mind, besides if you went to a hospital to see someone and they had a particular ailment, that they make you put on the gown and some gloves and a mask to go in and see them so that you would not mess them up based on a weak immune system and that they would not give you what they have. That's normally with pneumonia, but after you leave out of the hospital, you can take that stuff off. But somebody created a virus that you got to leave out the house with it on. Go shopping with it on. You can't even come to the hospital. So now we're dealing with something on such a large scale that everyone else is reacting to it. And the reactions are in what you see going on in the world. White people rebelling, standing on the Capitol steps in different states, waving their Confederate flag, showing their whole anus. In other words, like, they ain't hide nothing. They don't care what you think, black man or black woman, what the Confederate flag means to you. They trying to show you it still means to them what they want it to mean. They have not gotten over, I said this, look, if you go back and look at the other videos, you're going to hear the same thing. I said that they have not gotten over the war between the North and the South, all the way back from the time of Abraham Lincoln, when the states were split and the North was fighting against the South. And the South had the Confederate flag. And the North had the red, white, and blue flag, stars and stripes. And they wanted that whole 13 colony area to be united as one. Whatever the disagreement was, they got into a fight and an argument. At that time, black people were enslaved, but they also in the South had enslaved the Native Americans. And so the North was losing because a general named Albert Pike, I'll tell you about him later, you can look him up, but it's not going to tell you what I know about him because Wikipedia done watered it down. In the North, Lincoln was losing because in the South, Albert Pike had rallied up some Native Americans and promised them promises like they always do, made treaties with them, and said, but that's only if you win this war that we're fighting against the North. Some of them were made to fight, some tribes. But give or take, they fought. And with that inclusion of the Native Americans, they began to win. So Lincoln said, wow, you know, or somebody told me in his ear, we got some slaves, let's free the slaves. Free the slaves if they fight. So we were told that if we fight and help him win, that we easily be free. And matter of fact, we even said they'll be free in the South. North and South, when we come together, all y'all will be free. The Emancipation Proclamation. I'm taking my time because I told you I normally be here on Sunday. And as you can see, we are our own solution. That's what this shirt says. We are our own solution. Black power. Now, make a long story short about that because I can't be on here too long. I'm just on here for about 30 minutes. The North won. The slaves beat the hell out of the South. Even beat the hell out of the Native Americans. And General Pike got angry. General Pike said, well, I'm going to create me a group, a team, a fraternal order. And our whole reason for existing is to give black people hell for helping Lincoln and them win against him. And so he formed the Ku Klux Klan. And at that time, Albert Pike was already in the Masonic order, but he was a 33rd degree Mason. And he was of one of the highest orders. He was like illustrious this and all this, eminent commander, all these titles. And so he used some of the passwords and signs and grips of the Masonic order and put it into the Ku Klux Klan. And they became a group wearing those white outfits with the hoods and whatnot. And they gave us hell in the South. They gave us hell even in the North. And today, just like Masonry itself, it's still around. Ku Klux Klan is still around. Ku Klux Klan just went underground. Ku Klux Klan just took off their hoods. But they've been showing you in the media. They had a man, instead of wearing a mask, somewhere in the South, went to a supermarket and had on a Ku Klux Klan hood, walking around pushing his buggy, showing you they ain't dead. They just had one underground, but they coming right back up. And so don't think that because you see a Confederate flag, it don't mean nothing. Believe me, when they hold up that Confederate flag, it's equal to them putting that hood on their head. When it comes to black people, that's a warning to us. Yeah, they were standing on the Capitol steps in different states and they were talking about we want our freedom and you can't keep us in and all this and that. But they were sending a message. And certain symbols is worth 1,000 words. You'll say, well, they talking about the white people who got us locked in and all this and that. Their mouth said one thing. The symbols that they had on said something else. And then they were holding guns, automatic weapons of mass destruction, Tech 9s, everything, whatever they could, they were holding them up. They were showing you, Black America, they ready for us now. Then, right after that, some young man running, doing this thing, they pull up, they don't care, they said film it. They not undercover no more. They out from under the cover right now. They gonna film it, killing a man that was jogging, a black man. So that's the next phase after being on the Capitol steps. Yeah, let us be free. We ain't gonna put on no mask. We gonna do this and that. That's the cover. They actually waged war on us. If right now we went to another country and we killed somebody in their country and don't say nothing, or they took somebody from America and held them hostage, America would take that as an act of war. And if we did that to any other nationality on the planet and did something to them, they would take it as an act of war if you do something to one of their citizens. So wake up, Black America. All right? Don't be fooled. Because when they gave the Native Americans those blankets as a goodwill gift of peace among them, the Native Americans started getting sick. This I'm finna show you something where you're saying, well, Dad, this is the virus. Okay. The Native Americans started getting sick from a virus called smallpox. But the undercover motive for that was not just to make them sick, to pay them back for something. The thing was to decimate the whole group, to get rid of them off of that area of land so that they can live there and inhabit that particular part of the earth. They wasn't thinking about getting along with them in peace, because everything that the white man had did broke all the rules that the Native Americans held dear to them that had something to do with them and their relationship to nature. The Caucasians saw the buffalo as nothing but food and clothes. And so they shot up more than they needed. And some of them got skinned while they were dead, and they were using their skins and all for clothing and shoes and things like that. And sometimes they had carcasses just rotting in the sun. And the Native Americans thought that was a curse to have excess stuff rotting in the sun like that. They started praying to the sun. They started praying to the earth, trying to say, forgive us, forgive them. They don't know what they're doing. That white man at that time did not respect any culture, any religion, anything about the Native Americans. And so they all started dying, being sick of some unseen enemy, killing them off. Killing them off. And then here comes the same the same Caucasian white man saying, oh, wow, we can help you. This is all you need to do. Take this, take that, and whatnot. Playing innocent, like they're doing now. When the real deal is, I'm going to read this and I think it's going to be time for me to go. The real deal is that the United States government, along with other European nations, have a denial objective to destroy dark-skinned people of color off of the face of the earth in an act of genocide. That's just the truth. It's been the truth. When was the black man going to wake up? I told you on Sunday, every time you see my face, I'm speaking on behalf of the black man and woman. I'm either scold the black man and make him wake up and woman, and I'm going to expose the hidden hand that's behind what's going on in our hood. What outside influence? What hidden hand? And don't forget this. It used to be throw a rock and hide the hand. But now it's throw the rock and hide behind a black man or a black woman, black politician. So I'm going to expose that person too. But I'm going to let you know whether, from my perspective, were they knowingly doing what they're doing or unknowingly doing what they're doing. Is Bobby Rush knowingly knowing what he's doing and being paid by an outside thing, or is he unknowingly doing it because he just really don't know? We'll find out tomorrow. Is what's his name? State Rep LaShawn Ford. He said, we need to do something about this state of emergency, about this gun violence and black people killing black people like that. We need to have a bill passed that's making this gun violence a disease because it's a health issue now. Well, I know State Rep LaShawn, and I really don't agree with that, them making that a bill. And I ain't gonna say much. Let me see if my time up. But if we make that a disease, just like what you're seeing going on right now with this virus, and the steps that gotta be taken when there is an epidemic, because unless it gets worldwide, it's an epidemic, and you want to place it under that category instead of a social problem dealing with us among ourselves as a people. But instead of being a social problem, you want to put it under health, and then under health, you want to put it under a disease. So now you got to contain that particular disease or virus. And after you contain it, you need to make a vaccine. I said, and I'm still saying, that a man by the name of Gary Slutkin, an epidemiologist, his whole thing, and I'm going to go into him too later on, is to prove that the black man and woman is genetically, hear my word, genetically like genes or Genesis, his beginning. That when he is first conceived and being shaped and formed in his mother's womb, that he has a gene in him that automatically makes him prone to violence. If he can prove that to the CDC and the WHO and connect it to the same defining principle of a virus or a disease and go through those same processes, then what do you think the future of our babies is going to look like? When it's said that before that child leave the hospital, they got to take this vaccine that's going to make them docile, that will put that gene that makes us prone to violence in a dormant state. And now they got to take it every month because if they don't, that child might do something violent, be out of order, do something crazy, kill each other. And before they go to school, they got to take another one. And then everybody got to take it. They'll let the old group down out through alcohol, drugs, and whatever else they got on this virus. Then the new group coming in will be a docile group of blacks that won't cause no friction, that won't upset the government, that won't be a threat now to the black world. I mean, the white world won't be a threat. And then it will be in the annals, the books, the journals of the medical field. It will be in their medical books. When you look it up and read and you say blacks in violence, then it'll tell them that we're genetically prone to this violence. That same group who can do that, how do you know, Brother Minister, that they can do something like that? Well, back in, I believe, the 70s, I could be wrong, they had came to a conclusion after studying homosexuality. And they concluded, and doctors at a board meeting or whatever came to a conclusion, after getting many reports on homosexuality, they said that homosexuality should be branded as a mental disease. Yeah, a mental problem. Now, years later, the homosexuals went against it and made them change it, made them take that out the book and all kind of whatever. But that's how I know they can do that. And so they can put that in their journals, in their medical books about black people being genetically prone to violence. We need to get ahead of that, and we need to stop it before it gets to be signed as a bill. How do you know, Brother Minister, that it's going to be with black people? We talk about violence as a whole. The study, brothers and sisters, was done in the black community. If they was going to make it worldwide, why did they start testing here? Why didn't they start testing in the neighborhoods where white people was shooting in their schools and killing everybody up? Why didn't they make the study on Jeffrey Dahmer and all these other men that were killing other men, other children, Gacy, all of them? No, they didn't do that because they wasn't concerned about wondering about what they doing to each other. They were concerned about what we had the potential to do to them. And so they studied in our community under the premises of a name called ceasefire, to put out a film that opens up talking about a virus. And then when the virus scene is over, it immediately shows you some black people fighting in the streets. Comparing it back then. So some kind of way, and I don't have time to really go into it, I'm finna shut up now. We're gonna have to learn how to make comparisons and compare things that was done in the past. They said if you don't know the future, you will repeat it. And excuse me. Ooh, you can see I'm kind of worked up. I'm going to shut up now. But I'm going to say it this way. If you don't know your history, okay, if you don't know your history, you are doomed to repeat it. What you got to determine what part of history you need to look at. Now, most people don't want to go in a dark closet. But we have a dark past. There are other ethnic groups that have dark pasts. The Irish have a dark past. We have a dark past. The Jews have a dark past. There are other groups that have a dark past. Go into that dark past and you got to pull up some information. And whoever the people are that was responsible for it, you got to say their name. Ain't no way we can have Black History Month in February and leave white people out. And we need to stop that. We have a history that we ain't proud of, and I pray that the people who was responsible for it ain't proud of it either. But you're going to have to really do some convincing me, because all them people on them steps out there with them Confederate flags, and that man walking into the grocery store with that Ku Klux Klan hood on, and that group of rednecks that was in the truck that shot that boy while he was running. Oh, that is not the beginning of nothing. What about those rednecks in the truck in the South who took a black man, chained him up after he got off work, chained him up by his neck and his arms with a chain, put it on the back of a truck, and drove it down a dirt road until his head came off? Then, to make matters worse, took the body without the head and put it in the playground at a school where black people go so they can see it. I'm not talking about 18 nothing. I'm talking about 19 something. 1980, 1990, somewhere in there. Probably the 90s. You can look it up. You can Google it. So I'm not telling you nothing that you should be all crazy about because they done shot this boy. I'm saying this is a continuum. It's a continuum. And on that note, to be continued, I'll see you at 3:30 tomorrow. And I'll be able to prepare notes to share with you how I really see things, because I just did this on the spur of the moment. Because I kept on reading things and seeing things, and I'm like, man, I can't wait till Sunday. So, that's all I want to say. I'll see you tomorrow. I'm going to prove everything I said. Facebook family, it's about that time for us to wake the hell up. And I mean, be fully awoke. I had a dream once. And I woke up and got out of bed. I actually thought I was woke. I found out I wasn't woke. I had to get out of bed. I had to get back in bed and go to sleep so I could get back out of bed on another level. And it took me about, in the dream, a few days to see that I still wasn't woke. When I found out, I ran and got back into bed again to go to sleep. Then I began to see that each time I got into bed to go to sleep, I was in such a deep sleep that I didn't know I was still asleep. And so I had to go different levels before I actually woke up for real and was in this reality. And I shook my head and said, my God, is that how deep the rabbit hole goes and how sleep black people really are? Wake up, black man. Wake up, black man. We got things to do. Race first. Nothing wrong with that. Read and get your health together. African Holistic Health by Lyle of Africa. The man just made his transition because y'all thought herbs mean we gonna live forever. No, herbs and vitamins mean you can live pain-free without having to take a shot and all that stuff. And an asthma pump and this and that. Pawns in the Game, a book, 1930 something. Good book for you. Ruled by Secrecy. All this are books that need to be read now to bring you up to date, to show you what's really going on in our world based on some stuff that's happening to us from the outside world. And I don't mean outer space. And then for us to get back on our feet because of this plague that's causing a famine and causing all these long food lines, we got to help ourselves. We can't wait till the government to help us. We don't need nobody to stimulate us. If it was a sexual situation and somebody stimulated you, you ready to do something now. So if these little $1,200 checks ain't making you buy no business or get ready to go into business, ain't stimulating you so you can get a climax, and the climax is now we doing for self. I want no phony stimulus. God bless you, God keep you. I didn't even do the greeting. I'll do that tomorrow too. But this is going to be called Vantage Point. My point of view. And like I said, I'm the founder of the Toma Nation, All-Inclusive Black Conscious Righteous Movement. And I am one of the, not hosts, but co-hosts of A Black View. that we've been filming. It's been kind of on hold for a minute, but it's called The Black View. And so The Black View in the Toma Nation is actually going to be producing this 30-minute point of view that's based on current issues. So my time has been up, so I'm gonna close out, and then I'm gonna see you later. Peace, peace. May the Creator bless you.